Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I think that's a statement that's been around for a very, very long time, but I also feel like, well, sometimes it's a statement that not enough people necessarily take to heart. I never really understand why people believe in these corporations or public figures and stuff like that, that everyone has your best interest in mind. Everyone is here to help you, because at the end of the day, are they really? Or is there things happening behind the scene that we just don't know about, that a certain thing can come out into the public and be a convenient reason to all of a sudden change something that was already said previously? And people seem to fall for this stuff time and time again. And when it comes to video game companies, I immediately think of Xbox. I don't hate Xbox. Here's my Xbox Series system. I like the system as a console, but Xbox is constantly flip-flopping, changing their messaging, changing their sort of ideology, changing their sort of game plan about what they are going to do in the future. Now, when you look at games for 2024, Xbox actually had a somewhat strong year for once. All right, Hellblade 2 wasn't the greatest game in the world, but the second half of the year, you had Avowed, you had Indiana Jones, games that I think, when you take Concord and Astrobot together, Astrobot is probably the best game out of those four. But Concord is so low on the list that, hey, Avowed and Indiana Jones seems like a great deal, right? Right? Well, evidently, there's too many Xbox games, so we have to delay Avowed for your backlog, because companies now care about your backlog. This is from a couple of days ago, but I don't care. I don't care, because this just bothers me, and the fact that people just eat this up like slop, like pigs led to slaughter, follow suit, follow orders. I think that's a Soulfly reference there. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me, because this is a company that does not deserve your trust right now. Do you not remember when 3 games were supposed to come in 12 months? Confirmed. They put this on themselves. Redfall, Starfield, and Forza. And only one of those games came out within the 12 months, and it was Redfall, and it was not a good game. But hey, Xbox is your friend. They're here to help you. So many games coming. As such, we're moving Avowed to February 18th, 2025 to give players' backlogs some breathing room. Look at me. We are delaying a game to give your backlog breathing room. Have you ever heard such a ludicrous statement? Your backlog? What backlog are you concerned about with Xbox? But we'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit here. So what are the myriad of games that are coming out? They made a nice graphic for us here so that we can know what our backlog's gonna look like, because you're assuming they're talking about first-party games, and that's what this graphic shows you, because at the end of the day, that's all Xbox should be really concerned about. I know there's another game that comes out later on this year. We'll talk about it, but, you know, as far as first-party games are concerned, this is the lineup. So let's look at this together, shall we? World of Warcraft, The War Within. Oh, boy. Age of Mythology Retold, because that, you know... Yeah. Aura History Untold. So we got Retold and Untold with this. Okay. Diablo 4, Vessel of Hatred. So what you're telling me here is, out of these four games, we have 2 games that I'm not even really familiar with that obviously have their fan base, but probably not sort of dipping into Avowed's fan base, and 2 DLCs. Okay. These come out August 26th, September 4th, September 24th, and October 8th. Okay. Call of Duty Black Ops 6, October 25th. Flight Simulator 2024, November 29th. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, to be announced, 2024. Starfield Shattered Space, once again, DLC that's allegedly coming out next month. To be announced 2024. Towerborn, to be announced 2024. And then we get into 2025 stuff. So I don't even care. I don't even care about this 2025 stuff because this is not going to be affecting my backlog here. So out of all these games, let's look at this lineup of games here. What games on this list are similar to Avowed? Because when you look at Avowed, you definitely get a certain vibe, sort of like, an Elder Scrolls sort of vibe to it, an open world sort of action RPG sort of thing. What games on this list are anything like that? You could, I guess, say Starfield DLC, but space is definitely a very different thing at the end of the day. Plus, all of these games are coming on to Game Pass. So are you really worried about game sales and stuff like that to the point of where you feel like you need to delay a game? Because that's what happens sometimes. We've seen that with a few games recently where there's a crowded sort of thing and there's like another game that comes along. But all of those games are delayed because of sales. But Xbox doesn't care about sales. They care about people getting Game Pass and playing games via Game Pass. So what sort of issue would arise with this? Because let's look at the facts here. Out of all of these games, okay, I am someone who was interested in Avowed. I'm not playing World of Warcraft. I'm not playing this. I'm not playing this. I'm not playing this. This whole top row is pointless to me. I will play Black Ops 6, but it's nothing like Avowed. I might play Flight Simulator for a few minutes. It's nothing like Avowed. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, nothing like Avowed. They're not similar enough games to warrant a delay. I feel like they all have their own certain niche to where people are going to want to play what they want to play. Now, there's, of course, Dragon Age. And that's where everyone's held up on, because Dragon Age is allegedly coming out in 2024. And Microsoft has the marketing rights to it. And Dragon Age, you could say, is a very similar game to a game like Avowed. Okay, so we can only have one type of game? What does Microsoft necessarily care? All because you have the marketing rights to it. Who cares? What's more important, marketing rights to a game that has sort of, a cloudy, sort of aura surrounding it right now, or a first-party game that you're trying to get people to sign up for Game Pass and buy your consoles and stuff like that? Allegedly, because that's what you care about, but you also don't care about console sales. Like, isn't Avowed a more important IP than having marketing rights for Dragon Age? Because one of them is made by a first-party studio and one of them isn't? Like, I don't understand. I'm not trying to be mean here, but I legitimately do not understand how a company that has struggled with software for, quite a while now, all of a sudden has a couple games lined up. But now there's too many games. There's too much stuff, too many choices for consumers. So we need to delay this game, or maybe it's the fact that Avowed isn't completely ready yet. I find it very interesting that right before this tweet was made, a couple different Microsoft-based websites, and obviously they're not sponsored by Microsoft or anything, but like Windows Central and stuff like that, they had a story go out a little bit before this was announced that they're delaying it because of marketing stuff and there's too many games out there. Now, how in the hell would they have known that? Because this is kind of an unprecedented thing. How in the hell would they have known that unless somebody at Microsoft tipped them off? Because if a game gets delayed, what does your mind go to automatically? It automatically goes to, oh, well, there's probably a problem with the game. They need a little bit more time. They need time to cook. Which, if you look at Avowed, like, it does look good, but there's obviously some rough edges to it, especially when it comes to the combat of the game. All I'm saying is, I don't think Avowed is delayed because Microsoft cares about to give your backlog some breathing room. I think it's delayed because it's not quite ready yet. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. This happens with games sometimes. But to not say that, to instead just be like, oh, we could tell people it's because we care about their backlog, and people believe it. Like, holy shit. I don't understand how this is an acceptable thing to say for something like this. There's nothing wrong with delaying a game, but be honest with your consumer base, because it's obvious to anyone, I feel, that this is not why. You're doing a live stream with Avowed on August 23rd. So you didn't plan on this to come out this year. And here's the kicker. Here's the one thing that I can't help but think about. So you say it's because of backlog. You know, let's bring that graphic back up. So you say it's because of backlog. So essentially what you're telling me is none of these three games, Fable, Doom, The Dark Ages, and South of Midnight, are going to come out anywhere close to Avowed. So now you've pretty much dated these games as later on. But who's to say that there's not going to be other games that come out? Who's to say that some of these games that you have here, maybe they get delayed? I mean, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is to be announced 2024. We're in August, pal. We're in August. Third-party companies are still going to be making their games. They're still going to be releasing their games. Like, there's no guarantee that on February 18th, 2025, Avowed is going to be standing tall as the only game that comes out alongside of it. And I know there's games like Stalker 2 out there and whatnot, and you could maybe say because Stalker got delayed, well, you didn't want to have too much stuff around. Like, I don't know. I mean, to me, it just screams bullshit. It screams bullshit. And the fact that it's Xbox doing it makes me not necessarily trust them. Because there's no guarantee that my backlog is going to be cleared by February 18th, because there might be other stuff coming out that's more important, that I care more about than Avowed. Maybe I'm still playing Indiana Jones, unless you're saying Indiana Jones might not be a 2024 game. I don't know, man. I've never seen a company care so much about your backlog instead of just releasing games and making money and, you know, pleasing their fan base and pleasing people who wanted to play this game. Because, hey, Microsoft, these games that you got on this list, they're not going in my backlog. Call of Duty 6 is an online multiplayer game. Flight Simulator, no. Indiana Jones, probably, you know, an 8-hour game? I'm just saying. Maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe it is just marketing, and I'm sure there'll be some Xbox defenders in the comment section because people base their whole personality around a console. I base my whole personality around N64 wrestling games. It's cool, man. It's cool. I think the conversation in the comment section will be interesting, though. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Are you genuinely concerned about your backlog? Because, I mean, we're not even factoring in stuff that Nintendo is doing, stuff that PlayStation is doing. We're not factoring in any of that stuff into this. This is just Xbox, man. Your backlog. I wonder if Nintendo's going to be like, oh, man, well, we can't release, you know, Echoes of Wisdom. People's backlog. They might not have played Super Mario or Luigi's Mansion 2 yet. We got to worry about their back. We got to delay this game. When you think about it from another company perspective, then it starts to sound a little bit suspicious to you. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, I'm not an Xbox hater. If anything, I'm an Xbox YouTuber. I'm just someone who always tries to speak what they feel is the truth about a situation. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you disagree with me, hey, you know, that's cool too, man. At the end of the day, it's freaking video games. Get the stick out of your ass. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.